teams with expectations as high as the Rockies, we welcome you to this USL Championship contest in October with so much on the line. The game tonight is presented by Integrity Bank and Trust. It is the Switchbacks at home at Widener Field to take on San Antonio FC. Joined by Jeff Attinella, Mike Watts. Take a look at the Western Conference. X marks the spot. Tulsa, Sacramento, you will have a November to remember. Everyone else in October still has to punch their ticket. San Antonio in the top 4. Colorado Springs just narrowly above the playoff line. Jeff, there was expectation in the last 3-game week for the Switchbacks. Win a few games, go compete for home field advantage. They lost all 3. Now you have to earn your spot in the field.
They lost all 3, but if you rewatch those games, the amount of chances that they were able to create, it almost is baffling how they were dropping those games. They've created chance after chance, but the ball has done everything except hit the back of the opponent's net. And unfortunately, there's been mishaps. There's been things that have happened, and the ball has ended up the back of Colorado's net a little bit too often.
And so you're looking to Matt Mahoney to try and make sure things remain tight in the back. He's been a pretty good goal scorer, too. He's our Keg 1 Modelo player to watch.
Keeping the ball out of the back of the net is his main priority, but when we talk about needing goals, forget the forwards right now. Count on the defender. Let's get the defender up into the box. Let's get the big man up there. Maybe it'll come off of a set piece. Maybe it'll come off the run of play. But get this man around the box. He's a menace inside the box. So make sure that he is a key factor tonight when you're talking about those set pieces, because sometimes it's the set pieces that'll put you over the top.
San Antonio knows all about that. Win tonight, go to the playoffs. It really is that simple after missing out the first team out of the field last year. Like Katy Perry would say, they're hot, then they're cold. Started great. They had a brutal summer. They found their way again with just 1 win in their last 6 games. And Jeff, arguably the most complete midfielder in the Western Conference.
Well, when we talk about Hernandez, we're talking about a player who you described him as a game wrecker. What a perfect way to describe this player. And what's more important is his movement off the ball. Not only is Hernandez a player who can put the ball into the back of the net, he can create for his teammates, he can score different chances, but his movement off the ball is really what separates him from the rest of the players in this league, because the way that he moves, he draws defenders, he draws all the attention with him, which also creates opportunities for his teammates. So can they eliminate the game wrecker from clinching a playoff spot tonight in Colorado? We're about to find out.
So San Antonio and Colorado Springs ready to lock horns once again, just off of Pikes Peak. Fun one tonight with all the playoff implications you'd anticipate in the first weekend of October. Lineups and kickoff when we come back.
Injured in a crash? Get McDivitt and you get a firm dedicated to every single detail of your case.
We have the knowledge and resources to investigate the crash and your insurance company's small print.
Details matter. That's why we dive deep into every aspect of your case. This gives us the firepower we need to make the insurance company pay you the money you deserve.
We never ask you to pay a penny until we get you max money for your injuries.
Online at McDivittLaw.com.
McDivitt.
The moment you call McDivitt, an action plan is put into place right away to get you the help you need.
Each case and each client is different, with different needs and solutions. Your attorney and team immediately investigates every aspect of your crash and injuries.
We track down all the paperwork and deal directly with the insurance company for you.
We keep you in the loop every step of the way, fighting to get you max money for your injuries.
And you never pay us a dime until we get money for you.
McDivitt.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Today's player walkout is sponsored by Children's Hospital Colorado. The Switchbacks and San Antonio through the smoke and into thin air at Widener Field. Mike Watts joined by Jeff Antonello. Let's take a look at the starting lineups presented by Phil Long. Colorado Springs notably without Marco Micheletto tonight.
Hoping that the forwards from each team can create a little bit of something special.
There is playoff Patino, and we're closing in on that time of year. The final MVP in 2023, Duke Lacroix, and this Colorado Springs Switchback side looking to inch closer to the postseason. These are two champions in this league trying to take that step toward postseason glory. Echeverria with a false start.
Tejada got off the line a little bit early.
That's at least 5 yards.
Bring him back.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Off to a nice start.
Let's do it. Echeverria gets the first touch a second time. It is the Switchbacks taking on San Antonio. It's a huge matchup in the Western Conference tonight as we kick off October in Colorado Springs.
And the kickoff went out of bounds. I think that's 15. That's the last reference. We will see. But here we go. It should be an exciting one. Two teams that are playing for playoff, jockeying for position. Colorado Springs has an opportunity to bounce back from the last 3 games. Should be an exciting one here tonight.
And an early endeavor whipped across Fjellberg. That'll run out on the other side.
And this is what we've seen from Colorado Springs over the last 3 games. Immediately off of the kickoff, they're doing that counter pressure from the throw in, and then Fjellberg finds himself in behind it in a dangerous area. Colorado Springs has had no trouble getting into these dangerous spots. The attack has been there. It's just the form and finishing in front of the goal that has not fallen for Colorado Springs. But the level of play has been there. The creativity has been there. Getting the ball in dangerous spots has been there. But when the ball's not hitting the back of the net, goals are what change games. And for Colorado Springs in these last 3, it just has not been happening. But they're hoping to turn that around tonight.
This is one of those deals where you play so well, 4.5 expected goals in 3 game span, and you come away with 1 goal, and you just go, what exactly do I need to do? You talk to James Chambers, and he says, just have to keep moving forward. And I appreciate a manager's approach to that, especially with the injuries they're dealing with, but all the while, you have to think it's a bit grating. Maybe an early chance here for Colorado Springs that's smothered by Richard Sanchez, who starts in goal.
When you watch the highlights from the Hartford game, you almost can't believe that they weren't able to get some of those goals across the line. There are multiple opportunities in behind the defense, goalkeepers making big time saves, forwards missing opportunities. It was almost impossible for them not to score on the different opportunities that they were able to create as a group. But when the ball's not falling in the goal, the ball doesn't go into the back of the net, those are things that just continue. And sometimes it takes a little bit of luck. Sometimes you need something a little bit quirky to happen. Maybe the ball takes a weird deflection to get you guys that confidence to scoring goals again. And tonight's a good opportunity for them. San Antonio is a team that has a lot to play for tonight. They're a patient team. They're good defensively. Carlos Hermosa really stresses the defense, center back in his prime in his day. They really have an importance on that. So this is a good test for Colorado, but it's also a good test for San Antonio, even though Colorado's dropped the last 3. Still an opportunity to play against a team that's in a very good form, even though the results might not even show it.
Whistle goes against Lacroix. Take a look at our Common Spirit Health injury report. Note Micheletto unavailable for selection tonight, and San Antonio, it is nonstop. Paredes, Crinali, the center back, LaCava was questionable, is not a go tonight. Diogo Pacheco continues to deal with injury. Colorado Springs, you know, we mentioned Micheletto off the top, but that's just the most recent one. Herman, Endeli, Rocha, Fontana. These teams are supremely banged up at this time of year.
this just speaks to which teams are able to build their depth throughout the course of the season. It's important, especially when you're talking about the long seasons. It's a good ball in over the top.
Tejada flicking that toward frame, and it's held by Sanchez. In for the injured Kyle Vassell tonight.
That would have been a good one. Fugberg able to find that ball, long ball over the top. Tejada has that control off of the first touch. Tries to loop Sanchez, but Sanchez, an experienced goalkeeper, calmly walks it back, catches that one, and starts the transitional moments. But Tejada, he's going to play an important role tonight. Getting the start, in off of injury, subbed in last game. It's going to be an important role tonight in terms of holding the ball up and trying to create those situations there as the lone target forward up top.
San Antonio take control. Mitchell Tainer not starting tonight. Their captain and the former defender of the year in the championship. This is one of those games where you sit down and look at the roster and you really kind of turn your head and squint. Lobbed along here and settled by Harvey Neville. Began the year in Phoenix.
Yeah, Neville, he had options in front of the goal box, but maybe just a little bit more patient there. Colorado had defenders in the area. Would have been really tough to get that cross in and try to create something in front of the goal, but he had some space in front of him. Maybe next time he has the opportunity to take on the outside back, drive a little bit more closer to the goal, but it is a good ball over the top, and for a player getting their first touches of the game, it's good to find that open space.
And now in behind, that will run out of the reach of Kyle Linares, the second round draft pick of Portland, who was signed back on August the 27th.
It's a good ball in over the top as well. Colorado Springs needs to be a little bit more switched on here. Linares finding that gap in between the center backs and the goalkeeper. The ball is just a little bit too far, but if that ball had checked up just the slightest bit, Linares would have been in 1v1 with the goalkeeper. And we talk about Colorado Springs as well. There are different opportunities where the goals that they've been giving up too, a couple fluky goals, weird bounces, but there are also opportunities where the defense could be a little bit tighter. Maybe they need to step a little bit closer to the ball, close a little bit more space, make sure that you're connecting with the runners as we get another look at this one here.
So Linares with the first half chance of sorts for San Antonio.
Oh, Tejada making his presence known. Making his presence known that he's going to be a forward that's checking back and defending with that foul.
Turning down Omar and into the back line. Alexi Sawahi earning the start here tonight. That'll run out, should be a throw. Is a throw. And Noah Dollemeyer to throw, came in from El Paso about a month ago. Dollemeyer probably makes Pikes Peak feel small. Speared away by Matt Real. Fjellberg. An enticing start, flying at Sawahi. Dicing back, got his legs swept out. That's a free kick.
He's been a difference maker so far in these first 8 minutes. for Colorado Springs. Fjellberg, look at he's driving down the line, putting the defender on his back foot. It's that cut inside. He's driving towards that baseline, but he has that quick pivot foot. He's able to put his foot on the brake, and for the defender, it's tough to readjust that way. Good touch inside, and this is a dangerous spot for a free kick. You can really put this ball right on the PK spot onto these runners. You can shoot it from this angle if you're trying to catch the goalkeeper off. A lot of different options here for Colorado Springs.
Underline free kick. Delivering gigabit fiber internet, underline.com/COS. Service header back across the face. Misguided in the end. Decent look from Maraca.
It was a great look. He's able to find himself on that far post. He's trying to drive it back to where the free kick came from for his teammates. I think he had an opportunity to try to redirect that on goal, though. It's probably a design played from the training ground, trying to get it back across the net, but so much space in front of him. Trying to redirect that on the goal frame, make Sanchez make a save.
Creek. Real. It's going to run out. By the way, if you followed San Antonio for the last decade, there's a name that's pretty well synonymous, at least from the media and broadcast side. Preston Petrie has been with the club for quite some time. He's the assistant sporting director now. Be remiss not to mention he announced his engagement today. Congratulations, Bailey and Preston. We're over the moon for you. Talk about a scenic way to do it, too. Preston is one of the really great people in the championship. I'd be remiss not to give him deserved flowers. Congratulations to the Petries. Throw coming here for San Antonio. Throw coming for Jorge Hernandez. It's Neville who tosses in to Sawahi. And Abde Salim goes to work. Salim called in to the Somalia national team over the last few years. Slip ball running long past Mahoney.
Yeah, just nobody there. Not on the same page offensively on that one. I like the idea, though. You check in, create the center back, create that distance. But ideally, once that forward's checking back to the ball, you have those overlapping runs from the wingers so that the spaces he's able to create, there's somebody to run onto it.
Well, maybe Lacroix just can't see very well. That's 2 early fouls on him. Or he saw everything he needed and did exactly what he felt was necessary.
It's very rare that the mask perfectly matches the jerseys.
It's accurate.
But that's a nice accessory.
Hadn't thought of that. Lacroix, the Haitian international, very fashion forward tonight. Switchbacks knocking on the door. They have been for a while now. 3 straight defeats. A win today puts them in a far rosier position as they approach the tail end of this season. They face 2 top 2 squads in the final 3. Fjellberg. Maraca! Turned away by Sanchez.
And this is what we're talking about with this Colorado team. They create these chances. Fjellberg doing a great job like he's been doing all night so far. Maraca, he opens up his body. He does everything right. He opens up his body. He tries to tuck it into that far post. But the story of Colorado Springs as of recent have been goalkeepers making saves in difficult positions. Sanchez doing a great job. He reads it the entire way. Right when Maraca opens up his body, that gives Sanchez the key that he's going to be diving to his left. Maraca hits it with power, but Sanchez is there to make a comfortable save and put it out for a corner kick.
This corner kick brought to you by McDivitt Law Firm. McDivitt is in your corner. A Maraca mural. Oh no, that's a frog. The wind is whipping in toward the goalkeeper. swung across. There's contact in the area in the lead up to it. And that gets out. Now, if you're Colorado Springs, look forward. You finish at Charleston. You host Las Vegas, who've fallen near the bottom of the West, but have a ton of talent and a new coach in Devin Rensing. And then they go to Tulsa. So number 2 in the East, a resurgent Lights at home, and then number 1 in the West. This is an important game. This is at home, one of the 2 you probably circled and said, these are points we feel we should get, all things considered, for the reigning champion.
And that being said, it's still no easy task.
No.
San Antonio is a very quality team, and they have something to play for as well. But when you get to this point in the season, if you haven't locked up your positioning, this is the way that it shakes out. You have to go against these top teams, and Colorado Springs is a team that's going to have to earn their way into the playoffs here with the remaining games on their schedule.
Unless we forget how quickly things changed at the end of last season, zipping all the way up to second place in the final minutes of the last day, and then hosting the entirety of the postseason here at Widener Field. It can change in a hurry. They've won the ball high up the field. Maraca providing support. Angling for space across Tejada! Finally the breakthrough for the Switchbacks. Juan Tejada!
And celebration here for Colorado Springs. It took a little bit of a deflection, but it really came from the initial pressure. Colorado Springs does such a good job of turning the ball over, and it's Tejada who finds himself in front of the goal box, and it takes a little bit of deflection on its way in. It wasn't the perfect shot that we've been seeing from Colorado Springs. Off his own leg it hits, and it goes back to that near post, and sometimes you need a little bit of luck on your side. But this goal, make no mistake about it, this goal comes off of that initial wave of pressure that Colorado Springs was able to establish. The ball gets sprung out wide by Maraca. It's a good ball driven in, and Tejada makes his presence known in front of the box. He finds that empty space, and then it takes a little bit of a deflection and finds its way past the goalkeeper, Sanchez, who's unable to get himself back to the proper side. And that just has to feel like a weight has been lifted off the shoulders of this Colorado Springs team. They've created so many chances and not seen the ball hit the back of the net. For them to get this in the 15th minute, that's a big-time statement for this group.
Switchbacks goal presented by Gold Hill. Gold Hill, the best address. Tejada's 4th of the season. This game, of course, with 2 final MVPs. Santiago Patino won it a few years back for San Antonio. Tejada is the final MVP last year, and here he comes again. Angles this back, able to hit it wide. Yosuke Hanya had the assist on the goal, was trying to get involved again.
Well, Hanya on the goal and into that sequence, he's able to find the space out wide. He starts his runs out wide. The defenders can't go with them because the ball's on the other side, so he's able to create that space for himself, and then he's able to drive at that line, drive at the defenders out wide. Good job creating space for himself, and an excellent cross in from Hanya on that goal as well, doing a good job picking up his head and recognizing where Tejada was in terms of his placement in the box.
Elsewhere, Amadou Diaz put Louisville in front of Indy 11. They could move within a point tonight of clinching the Players' Shield. Miami has actually fallen behind initially of Pittsburgh. They've come from behind. They're 2-1 up at an hour against the Riverhounds, who could have moved into the top 4 with a win this evening against the bottom team in the East. Tampa Bay has taken a lead in their match tonight and could move within a game of the playoff line against Monterey Bay, who probably need to win out to have any hope of going to the playoffs. They sit 10th in the West. Tejada. Tejada, did that catch a hand? Or did it just not get hit quite right by Tejada? The latter.
I think it came off of, I think it might have been a deflection there, but you talk about that Monterey Bay Tampa game. You look at where both those teams are in the standings. That game has huge playoff implications when you're talking about two teams that are trying to get those bottom spots. At this point in the season, I don't think that that's something that either team is really going to be feeling, that this game would have that type of importance.
If Monterey Bay were to come back and win that game, they would move to 31 points, which would place them 2 points off of Phoenix at the playoff line, although everyone around them has games in hand. The Rowdies, on the other hand, on 30 would be within 2 points of 8th and Indy 11. So nothing really settled here. Rhode Island plays tomorrow. They play Colorado Springs in the championship. They aren't currently in playoff position. With that goal by Tejada, Colorado Springs would jump into 7th above Phoenix. And they'd move within a couple of games of San Antonio, albeit with not much time to make it up. They'd be 4 points back. Switchbacks would have 3 games remaining to make that up. Colorado Springs would have, rather San Antonio would have 4 games left. Down the line for Neville. And that snaps out. A Sunbelt Rentals, local hustle, national muscle. Helping to present tonight's game. You wonder if Santiago Patino felt something. He's already taken the wrap off, and they are bringing on a sub inside 20 minutes. Santiago Patino coming off just his 7th appearance. This is 5th season, 3rd stint with the club. And the first change comes 20 minutes in. Substitution brought to you by UCCS, where business careers start. Juan Agudelo, the former U.S. international, comes into the fray.
Yeah, difficult situation here for San Antonio. You never want to make a sub that early, but for Patino, he's doing the right thing in terms of if you feel something, you have to protect yourself as a player, especially for a team that is making a charge to the playoffs and they have high hopes of making this in November to remember for themselves.
And you look down the stretch, Tulsa, top team in the West next weekend. Then you play at Orange County, at Phoenix, and finish at home against El Paso. All those teams are above the playoff line, or in Orange County's case, top 8 in points per game in the West. They've got games in hand. Ball lofted across. And Dolenmeyer will keep it. So crush of games here over the next 3 weeks for San Antonio. And Patino takes an early leave. Linares, that deflecting across the face of goal, and coming off his line, Christian Herrera climbs in and corrals.
Great heads-up goalkeeping here from Herrera. Looks like he took a little bit of a knock here, but after that weird deflection comes in, he does a great job getting across his goal. But look at this skill here out wide. Able to turn his defender, drive towards the line, plays a dangerous ball and across. I thought he was going to go down. He felt that contact, but instead he opts to stay up. Ball takes a wicked deflection off his own defender, but Herrera heads-up play there. Takes a little bit of a cleat to the thigh, but a big heads-up play there from the goalkeeper. We saw a similar goal against Colorado Springs happen last week in the Hartford game, where the ball ping-ponged around. It took a bunch of different deflections, and somehow the ball ended up into the back of the net. But good job by Herrera there, being heads-up.
And even 4 days later, James Chambers still seemed exasperated by that goal.
Watching the replay and watching the game of that one, it was almost like the ball had eyes for the net, even when it seemed like it didn't.
Slip ball ahead. Looked like there's a tug on that jersey, and that's why San Antonio is so intent in telling the official to reconsider that. A win for San Antonio, they would pull even on points with New Mexico for 3rd, but a loss leaves them exposed to being jumped by either El Paso or Lexington this weekend. Of course, if they win, they clinch a playoff berth. That would bring them back to the postseason for the 5th time in 6 years, inclusive of the 2022 double winning campaign. Carry him to the corner.
Both these wingers tonight have been so dangerous. High on the right, field on the left, they're able to create these 1v1 opportunities. And if you're a San Antonio defender, when you have one of those players running at you, there's really not much you can do besides backpedal and wait for help. But they've done such a good job of isolating themselves out wide. Once they get this ball moving from side to side, they create these 1v1 opportunities for these wingers that have skill, they have speed. And they both had a bright start to this game and really made an impact in terms of what Colorado's been able to do offensively.
Now that is deemed a throw, but it comes at a cost. Dolenmeyer slid out over the turf and onto the concrete at the edge of the surface.
Let's get another look at it here. Good effort here from Dolenmeyer. Saves the corner kick, but right into that. I was almost into that wooden piece that's sticking out there.
You have the app board.
Good to see him popping up.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to be doing a little bit of work here to bandage that up later. Are you looking at Superwoman or the popcorn?
I was looking at Superwoman, the child just bashing her mom with the balloon in the back.
Yeah, the clap stick, thunder stick. You know, they tell you, oh, it's, you know, you can play with it and that's great. They never talk about it becoming a weapon.
That's, I mean, any soccer game I brought my kids to with the clappers, they just immediately turn into hitting each other.
25 minutes gone. Thankfully, we are absolved of any concern of that tonight. Lacroix goes racing in. Hanya's the beneficiary. The wide player here is actually Tejada, who's rotated wide. And Lacroix got outwitted by Mohamed Omar there. Slip ball ahead. Agudelo came off the bench 20 minutes in. Agudelo drops it off. Omar, that slides right on point.
Agudelo does a good job on that one, timing his run. You could tell he was running that line horizontally, waiting for that through ball to come in. Experienced move there, running the line, making sure he stays on sides, but unfortunately the speed, he didn't have the speed to take it a little bit more forward and go at it 1v1, slips it back, and nothing doing.
Agudelo, part of the U.S. national team at the senior level for a 9-year span, in and out, part of the 2017 Gold Cup team. 32-year-old capped 28 times, scored 3 goals. Agudelo, a very nomadic career, seemingly emblematic of so many strikers. The all-time greats get to stay somewhere for 10 years. Everybody else, it seems to be a 2-year merry-go-round.
Usually go where the goals are needed. That's the forward position.
And that's the free market, baby.
Yep.
Last couple of years in Birmingham, Tommy Sohn was always saying, I have 1,000 emails from agents saying, I've got a striker. And there's a reason that all those agents have a striker to sell. Agudelo spent the last 2 years there. Ball bouncing down, that's going to take a ricochet off of Echeverria. Appeal that caught the arm of Hernandez goes unheard. This will be a corner for San Antonio.
It's really the first time that we've seen Hernandez get himself on the ball tonight. Slips in behind, able to create that space. Let's see what we do with the corner kick here. San Antonio, a team that has some set pieces.
The Hernandezes are awaiting in the corner. This corner kick is brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, that's what I like. I would guess Nicky hands this off to Jorge, and we see what happens after that. Yeah. Put in play, lobbed across. The idea was decent because Salim was able to back away from everybody and get a half look at it. It'll be a corner on the other end.
Yeah, that's a great ball in as well. Outswinging ball, difficult for any goalkeeper to come and get. Picks out Salim, who had the height advantage over his defender, but as he heads it down, just bounces off. But another good opportunity here. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of an in-swinger from Hernandez.
This corner kick is brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. You need a compass to do this job. I'll explain in a moment. No, I'll explain now. The corners are listed by directions. This is the southwest corner. If they did not have signs already in the corner, I would have no idea whose corner was whose.
Well, the sun sets in the west.
Dynamite drop in, Jeff. That navigation school really paid off. Dicky Hernandez. Skewed into the air by Methuselah. There's still work to be done here. It's tapped away from Dolenmeyer, who's fighting tooth and nail and concedes the foul in the process, not allowing a transition moment the other direction.
Never eat soggy.
Yeah. No, Jeff, you have to turn this way. You know, if you turn the compass upside down, it's W for Wumbo.
Maybe this could be halftime talk, but I wonder how the sponsors choose which corner they want, or if it's assigned.
It's an outstanding question.
You know?
Wow. You know what? I'm going to have a chat with Brad Estes. I'm going to figure this out.
We got to get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
Well, we don't have to, but
I don't know that he's going to respond to that text message. Here comes Colorado Springs, saving us from ourselves. Yosuke Hanya. Javria touches wide, and on it again. This is his 13th start this year, was in and out last year, 5th year with the club. Arrived on an extended trial in 2020 and has been a prominent feature ever since. We'll bump into Tejada. He's able to hold on to the ball. Fjellberg. He's dangerous. Fjellberg rolls it outside. Served across over Hanya. Tejada. That'll soar up and into the bleachers.
I'll tell you what, this Colorado team is fun to watch. The movement that they have off the ball, the way that their midfielders are able to create that different spaces. They come from the midfield, they run to the forward lines. Their forwards will interchange with them. Hanya will come inside, Tejada will go out wide. We saw a little sequence there, it doesn't come off, but we saw a spell there in possession where you saw everybody involved a little bit in the attack. They swung the ball from side to side defensively with their back four. They were able to send the midfielders forward into those gaps. And even if you look at it here defensively, they're pressing high. I know we've talked a lot, there's a lot of game left here, but this is the Colorado Springs team that is very dangerous. They're very dynamic. And you think about the players that they're missing as well. This is a team that if they're able to sneak themselves into the playoffs, again, could be a team that has that type of momentum and just the type of players in the movement that could be really dangerous. Difficult to defend against. San Antonio's done a good job. They've kept things in front of them, but the way that they interchange players, it's easy to lose an assignment here, the way that they're able to move.
And I think if you look back at what made them so good at the end of last year, they brought in guys like Hanya, like Maraca, and they all gelled into that sort of amorphous attacking threat at the right time. And there's a very real chance the 3 losses can make it seem like it's going the wrong direction, but the analytics say that it's better than it looks. And if you go and win 3 of these last 4 or go on a run, you're going to beat some really good teams along the way, and you're going to walk into the playoffs with overwhelming confidence and maybe even a home game.
I know it's difficult for the fans to hear, but you know, even as a former player, there are stretches where you feel like you're dominating games, you feel like you're creating chances, you're doing just about everything right, but the ball doesn't go into the back of the net. And ultimately, goals change games, and sometimes things happen against the run of play. But as a group internally, especially as a locker room, you know when you're playing well. You know when you're playing good football. And this is the Colorado Springs team. When you look at the statistics, you just watch the games with your eyes. They're creating different opportunities. There's been lapses defensively. Oh, great ball over the top.
Collected by Hanya. He's in behind. Hanya slid away by Sanchez. Dolenmeyer was able to get to the inside.
And sometimes saw that interchange, and route one is the best way to go. Herrera, the goalkeeper, picks his head up and sees the space in behind, and Hanya is able to create it for himself and run onto it. I think if he might have been able to, instead of that secondary touch there, if he was able to pick his head up, he'd see Fjellberg making that run across the goal. You could have played it behind the back line, but instead he opts. He takes that big touch. It leads him to a difficult angle. The goalkeeper, Sanchez, does a good job and closes it out, but we have another corner kick here.
Back to the Frog. McDivitt Law Firm presents this corner. We're in your corner. McDivitt Law Firm. Dolenmeyer. Sanchez came for it, and I think, far be it for me to tell a goalkeeper to say a goalkeeper got bailed out, but.
That is something where, you know, I'm always going to favor the goalkeeper union, but that is something that I think is pretty loose. Even when I was playing as well, I would have said the same thing. That is something that gets a little bit loose. It almost seems like when there's a 50-50 ball, anytime the goalkeepers run into, whether it's him causing the contact or the forward causing the contact, they always seem to get a call for it. And on that one, I think Sanchez, you know, going at it with the Colorado Springs forward, he goes straight up for it. There's a little bit of contact, but I didn't really see much of a foul there.
Join us on the other side, Jeff. With retirement, you can now tell the goalkeepers what you really think. Weaving and looking for just a shred of space. It's going to bounce all the way into Christian Herrera. Starts for the 16th time this year. Sanchez. Brooks Thompson had the "oh my God, what are you doing" moment of the season. Sanchez didn't miss that by all that much. 2 balls, too many balls.
Anytime as a goalkeeper, if you're trying to Cruyff people facing the opposite direction, you know that you've reached a moment where I don't think this is the territory I should be operating in. But credit Sanchez, he does do a good job staying composed and put the ball out of harm's way.
I mean, in hindsight, you could say this is like a good moment for him, but ew.
Goalkeepers are soccer players too. Look at that cut. Just able to roll it off the top of his foot. Here it is. Oops. Just not a situation you want to be in as a goalkeeper, but give Sanchez some credit. He gets himself out of a tough situation.
Goalkeepers are soccer players too.
I don't know if I would have had that in my locker. I might just calmly tap it out for a corner kick and put my hand in the air.
True enough. 3 starts a year ago. He's started now 22 this season, 6 clean sheets. Guy who got more than a cup of coffee in MLS, 29 appearances in the first division, and has bounced around a bit in the championship. Memphis, Hartford, now San Antonio. Sanchez time at the Dallas Academy level into MLS, and then the Tigres. He got his most time in Major League Soccer with the Chicago Fire. And a stopover in Kansas City, where Tim Melia would not give him the shirt.
I roomed with Tim Melia on my first ever preseason trip.
Hopefully only good things.
I got him to eat a dessert, and he was a very fit person.
I believe that.
So I don't know if I was a positive or negative influence on him.
Throw for Matt Real. Here's Creek. You know, I was telling James Chambers, my bias with midfielders is distance run. I often rate that quite highly, the effort, right? The offside flag goes up on Fjellberg. I look at Creek, and I don't think there's one blade of this Corconut turf surface he's not going to touch between the 2 boxes tonight.
Well, those are the players, right? Those defensive midfielders who have to put that type of work in. They have to be the fittest people on your team. because you need them going box to box. You need them getting involved in the attack. You need them putting out counterattacks as well.
Dollenmeyer knocks it back. We remind you of Sunbelt Rentals, local hustle, national muscle. Neville works a decent give and go. Got broken up. Echeverria in reverse. And Herrera. Agadello still certainly has that in his locker. Neville. Herrera leans back, 6'6" with long limbs, yanks it in.
Easy get for a goalkeeper his size.
To remind you of the USL on ESPN2, watch tomorrow, clash of championship teams fighting for playoff life. Rhode Island, Eastern Conference's reigning champion, battles to get above the line. Las Vegas Lights look to stay in contention. It is tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, 3 Mountain Time on ESPN2. Fjellberg managed to keep it in. Here comes the fun part. And drop that off for Morocco, who never started an inward run.
I think everybody was sitting there waiting to see what he was going to do with it. In that 1v1 situation, hits a couple step overs. You're expecting him to go at the defender, maybe create a little bit of something for himself. I think his teammates got caught ball watching there as well.
He's one of the players I most enjoy watching in the championship.
He has speed. He's good on the ball. He can cut you side to side. Even in these first 40 minutes, you've seen flashes of everything that he's able to provide. I think that next step is, can he get those shots off for himself sometimes as well? He does such a good job of creating for his teammates. Can he get himself in on goal on his own?
Twice Player of the Year in the mighty Atlantic 10 for the University of Dayton Flyers, which always has a competitive program. As long as you don't say Dayton University, that really rankles the alums.
Does it?
It does.
You have to say Flyers?
You can say Flyers, but don't say Dayton University for the University of Dayton.
Oh, University of Dayton.
Tejada takes a deflection off of Soto and right to Sanchez.
Yeah, I think he's found himself out wide quite a bit tonight, but he does his best work out in front of the goal. Try to keep himself a little bit more centrally. Let those wingers that you have do the work out there. Something's got the fans excited.
I'm gonna guess it's Ziggy. I scream like that when he shows up too.
We've had this discussion a few times. Where does Ziggy rank on your mascot rankings?
Best hair, top 5 mascot.
We're going to need a breakdown of this at some point.
The world's ready for that. I mean, Kelpie in Monterey Bay has actual fish hanging off. I mean, that's insanity.
Think in bags?
No, well, fake fish.
Okay.
But, you know, fish nonetheless. Crustaceans too. I mean, it is really something. Creek. We're up the creek. There he is.
Covering space, but that's what you have to do if you're a 6. Look at him. He's just a connector. Try to find those gaps in between. Keeps patrolling that space in the midfield.
Hanya. Nicky Hernandez. You can kind of see some of these triggers starting to manifest a little bit, right? Ball gets to Neville and you try and seem to pin it in on that side.
Well, this is where San Antonio, they need to be patient, but they need to get this ball moving. Colorado Springs is back in this block. This is where you got to try to pull the players out, try to find those spaces, quick 1-2 touch passes, gradually build yourself in behind, and when you have this opportunity to start slipping the ball in between those lines, maybe it's a ball in over the top, but you just have to remain patient, because Colorado Springs, the way they have numbers behind, if this ball turns over, they're going to be ready to pounce and start attacking the other way.
Checked up on the surface a little bit, and that gives enough room for Lacroix. Booted free, and then Yosuke Hanya draws the foul. The goal from Tejada 15 minutes in. That's probably going to need a look from the athletic trainer. That's drawn blood.
Well, as the ball turns over here, you can tell that Hanya what he wants to do. He wants to get off and running. It's his touch here, but defensively doing a good job. Nothing malicious there. Doing a good job getting the body in front of it, slowing down any chance of a counterattack. But you can tell right off the bat what Colorado Springs is trying to do there.
Hanya's just going to pull the socks up and get on with it. Sprinting, and that's going to run too far. Stoppage time is brought to you by the Tick-Tock Shop. Complete clock and watch sales and service. If you're Colorado Springs, are you satisfied by the 45 minutes?
Absolutely. I think that they've done a good job. Defensively, they've kept everything in front of them. San Antonio really hasn't created their own opportunities. And when you look at the chances that Colorado Springs is able to create, they've had two or three good looks, but you get your goal, you're able to find those spaces in behind, and ever since San Antonio started to regain possession of this game, you haven't been caught out defensively. So for Colorado Springs, I think it's gone pretty much the script of what you were trying to do. And then on the flip side, if you're San Antonio, now you got to start building yourself into the game. Being patient, creating opportunities like this.
Angle was fairly tight. Looks like they'll let this play out just a little bit longer. Neville. Back set header. We've gone over the minute, and it is enough for the first half. So the goal comes from Juan Tejada. Herrera hasn't been challenged all that much, but his sheet remains clean. And the Switchbacks in need of a win tonight, holding off San Antonio through 45.
Good first half for this group from Colorado. They did a good job of attacking, getting that momentum going early in the first half, getting their chances in behind, really getting their wingers involved to create those different opportunities. Tejada, of course, with the goal. And then now it's time for San Antonio to build themselves into the game. I think that we have an exciting second half on hand. I expect San Antonio to come out with a little bit more offensive game plan in mind. Agudelo had to sub in late. That had some shifting in what they were able to do in terms of what they were thinking offensively. But now's the time for them to start building themselves into the game and for Colorado to respond as well. So it should be a good second half.
So we're headed to halftime here. 1-0 Colorado Springs. Fjellberg and Hanya creating, but it's Tejada with the goal 15 minutes in. They buoy the playoff hopes for the home side. Halftime presented by Integrity Bank and Trust coming up after these messages.
Injured in a crash? Get McDivitt and you get a firm dedicated to every single detail of your case.
We have the knowledge and resources to investigate the crash and your insurance company's small print.
Details matter. That's why we dive deep into every aspect of your case. This gives us the firepower we need to make the insurance company pay you the money you deserve.
We never ask you to pay a penny until we get you max money for your injuries.
Online at McDivittLaw.com.
McDivitt.
The moment you call McDevitt, an action plan is put into place right away to get you the help you need.
Each case and each client is different, with different needs and solutions. Your attorney and team immediately investigates every aspect of your crash and injuries.
We track down all the paperwork and deal directly with the insurance company for you.
We keep you in the loop every step of the way, fighting to get you max money for your injuries.
And you never pay us a dime until we get money for you.
McDevitt.
When I came back from the war, I was barely hanging on by a thread. I'm here today because of Tanya's relentless efforts in trying to get me healed. And says, Michael, I know you've got a plan to take your life today, but if you give me just 5 more minutes to love you.
5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, honey, 5 more minutes to love.
Michael has actually taught me what it looks like to accept help.
Welcome back. Halftime is presented by Integrity Bank and Trust. Careful, they make noise. They can also be used as weapons. Switchbacks 1, San Antonio 0 at halftime. Tonight's honorary healthcare professional of the match is Oscar Martinez Mojica, a radiation therapist in the Cancer Center. Thank you, Oscar, for everything you've done to help our community. The healthcare professional of the match is sponsored by Olson Plumbing and Heating. They hosted the entirety of the playoff run here at Widener Field, and October could lead to quite a November in the Rockies again. Switchbacks up 1-0 at the half.
Me. Tell them this like it.
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a love take a love for free.
Today we went to the beach and it was totally worth it. Get double points this fall at Best Western.
Integrity Bank and Trust presenting tonight's game and our halftime coverage. Switchbacks 1, San Antonio nothing. Mike Watts, Jeff Antonella, how about we tell you about news and notes from around the USL Championship and beyond. 250 appearances for Augie Williams, game winner as well against Las Vegas. JP Skierce extending to stay with his hometown club through 2028. And then Sean Tosh hits number 296 and hits the winner en route.
And I mean, when you're talking about a player who's meant a lot to the organization, and really meant a lot to the league, Sean Tosh leads the way in that. He leads the league in tucked-in shirts appearances as well. He does a great job here, and what a special moment for the player. He's able to get that goal in a meaningful game for himself, a new record amongst the league, and just a player who's really been the motto of consistency for a club that's also been a motto of consistency in the championship. So credit to him.
Elsewhere in the championship tonight, no one is safe. Detroit upset. Birmingham upset. Miami upset. Tampa Bay continue to exist. Louisville looks like they're going to move 1 point off the Players' Shield. Tulsa is ensuring that Sacramento doesn't catch them for the 1 seed in the West.
Well, when things are on the line, that's when other teams start to shine. That's where certain teams tighten up. And a team like Miami, they're playing the role of spoiler. And sometimes when you have teams that are playing the role of spoiler, they play a little bit more loose than they've been doing the entire year, going up against a Pittsburgh team that has everything to play for, everything in front of them, getting that result. You talk about a team like Tampa Bay, they could have been dead in the water multiple times this season, but they're hanging around. They have a good lead on a Monterey Bay team who also somehow still has playoff implications on the line. So a lot of craziness going on at this point in the season, but it's a lot of fun for the fans.
Have to think this is the death knell for Monterey Bay if they fail to come back. All the while, we are less than 1 hour away from kickoff of the first ever expanded Jägermeister Cup final. Two sides from the championship, two of the hottest teams in the league. 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Best offense versus best defense in the tournament. Looking forward to turning into this one. Like you said, two of the hotter teams in the league, two styles that are a little bit contradictory to one another. It'll be a chess match between these two managers, who also are two of the best managers that the USL Championship has to offer as well. So should be an exciting one. I'm looking forward to tuning in when this one wraps up, and get yourself over to the Golazo Network to do the same. Indeed. And Joey Farrell. Two cheers. My man. Integrity Bank and Trust presenting our halftime coverage tonight. The Switchbacks out of San Antonio. We'll show you how it happened. Kick off the second half after this.
Injured in a crash? Get McDivitt and you get a firm dedicated to every single detail of your case.
We have the knowledge and resources to investigate the crash and your insurance company's small print.
Details matter. That's why we dive deep into every aspect of your case. This gives us the firepower we need to make the insurance company pay you the money you deserve.
We never ask you to pay a penny until we get you max money for your injuries.
Online at McDivittLaw.com.
McDivitt.
The moment you call McDivitt, an action plan is put into place right away to get you the help you need.
Each case and each client is different, with different needs and solutions. Your attorney and team immediately investigates every aspect of your crash and injuries.
We track down all the paperwork and deal directly with the insurance company for you.
We keep you in the loop every step of the way, fighting to get you max money for your injuries.
And you never pay us a dime until we get money for you.
McDivitt.
When I came back from the war, I was barely hanging on by a thread. I'm here today because of Tanya's relentless efforts in trying to get me healed. And says, Michael, I know you've got a plan to take your life today, but if you give me just 5 more minutes to love you.
5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, honey, 5 more minutes to love.
Michael has actually taught me what it looks like to accept help.
The PTSD, depression, anxiety. I needed somebody to sit on my side of the table. He made that happen for me. KOAA, Channel 5, they care about the military, they care about the veterans. I've never seen this kind of care in my 80 years. Thank goodness for Bree helping me out. God put an angel in my life, and it just touched me so much.
Back here in Colorado Springs, 1-0 Switchbacks. Halftime presented by Integrity Bank and Trust. San Antonio trying to find their way back in. How about we take a look at the first half highlights, of which there are several. Colorado Springs came out firing here at the outset.
Using the wingers, and Fielberg really got this game off started for Colorado Springs, going at the defenders 1v1. The cutback here did a good job finding it. It's a big-time save from Sanchez. Look at the way Sanchez is able to expend. Morocco opens his body up, but Sanchez is able to extend himself. Comfortable save down to his left, forcing the corner kick. And at that time, you almost thought Colorado Springs was going to have a similar night that they've been having. But here we come, see something a little bit different from Colorado Springs. They're able to pick this ball up. Hanya doing a good job isolating himself in this 1v1 situation. Takes his touch, cuts it back, able to find Tejada, who cuts it back towards the end of the goal line. It takes a little bit of deflection, but this is the kind of luck that Colorado Springs needed. They needed to see the ball hit the back of the net, and I can't say enough about what these wingers were able to provide for this Colorado Springs team in the first half. And Tejada in the right place at the right time. A little bit of luck on his side, but that's something that Colorado Springs needed because they've been on the other side of that for so long.
Be noted, not only behind in that game, Logan Ketterer got sent off 35 minutes in, and so Lexington all of a sudden will be without their goalkeeper for their next game. They finish with 11 of 12 games against teams above the playoff line at the beginning of the week. And they'll be just 1 point ahead of Colorado Springs going into the final 3 games of the year in 6th. El Paso only 2 points ahead, and lest we forget, Colorado Springs, they would be just 3 points behind San Antonio. So much to consider. Abdi Salim coming off at halftime, and here comes old reliable Mitchell Tainer in off the bench, one of the best defenders in championship history. Looks like our sub got changed. So Salim had played in the middle. They're bringing in Jimmy Madronda, who can rip the net directly off its bearings when he gets it right. He's one of the best ball strikers in the championship. So he's going to be the one who comes on.
Well, right off the bat, we talked about San Antonio needing to make a change to get a little bit more offensive, and you see that with that substitution. Madronda, a player who's going to get himself a little bit more involved in the box, get himself higher up the field. Makes you wonder if they're going to go to that back 3 or if another player's going to slot in. Something we'll keep an eye on throughout the course of the second half.
Well, here we go, second half. Colorado Springs does have the lead. It's Juan Tejada, the goal scorer. This is the second meeting this year. And of note, the tiebreaker, if Colorado Springs were to win, would go to the 3rd level of tie-breaking procedure, which is in-conference points right now. But if the Switchbacks win by multiple goals, they would hold the tiebreaker because San Antonio won merely 3-2 back on April the 23rd. This game, Matt Real got both a goal and sent off in. Omar and Hernandez both scored for San Antonio. Alex Grieve, the game winner. Justin Dillon, not with the club anymore for Colorado Springs, scored in that game. All of which to say, with a potential 3-point gap, anytime you start to see a 1 or a 3 or 4, right, at this point, you have to start thinking about tiebreakers because Colorado Springs be within a game and then could jump them if San Antonio were to stumble down the stretch. At Tulsa, at Orange County, at Phoenix, and then Copa Tejas at home against El Paso. Final 4 games for San Antonio FC. The thing about the West is I'm very confident that Sacramento and Tulsa are going to host playoff games. Everything else, from who's in, who's out, I have no idea. No idea.
I was going to say, the thing that I'm confident about the Western playoffs is that there will be playoffs, and there will be teams that eventually make those playoffs. I could guarantee you that.
I mean, San Antonio, even if they lost out the rest of the way, right? I mean, they're 1 win away. The points are going to fall in a way. They can win tonight and clinch officially, but whether they back in or they run over through the tape is kind of irrelevant. It's seeding now. Switchbacks, on the other hand, no, there's still a lot of work to be done to get that job done, and that's a totally different convo.
Well, a lot of it, too, when you're talking about playoffs is usually the teams that have success in the playoffs are the hot teams. The teams that are playing well, not the teams that backpedal themselves into the playoffs, not the teams that barely squeak by or they're in bad form towards the end of the season. Those are the teams that have a hard time turning it on come playoff time. So even if you're one of these teams that's flirting with the playoff line or you feel like you have a secure spot in there, you want to be playing your best soccer entering this part of the season. So those are the teams that you really want to keep an eye on, especially when these playoff races are so tight. If you get a team that you weren't expecting to make the playoffs win 3 or 4 games to get themselves in, that's going to be a locker room that's feeling really good about where they're at.
Agreed. This corner is the northwest corner, which is to say this corner kick is brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank. Bank well, be well, cheer loud. When San Antonio won that game April 23rd, they were unbeaten. I mean, they were flying at the outset of the season. Ball whipped through, knotted down, clearance from Creek. Swept back toward the penalty area, header knotted, and a sliding effort. Herrera able to grab it in the end. And Juan Agudelo trying to stab that home.
It was there for Agudelo. The ball pops in over the top. Hernandez off the corner kick. It's his second ball that recycles in. Colorado Springs gets that half clearance out. San Antonio has those numbers on top of the box. A great flick in. And it's there for Juan Agudelo. If he keeps himself moving, if he times that a little bit differently, tries to redirect that on goal, but unfortunately, he misses the kick, misses the timing. And Herrera doing a good job picking up the scraps there.
Agudelo this season, just 1 goal in 900 minutes. He had 8 goals a season ago to go with 4 assists. Mentioned 2 years in Birmingham, now his 2nd year in San Antonio. 49 career MLS goals. And a very different profile than the one you got Santiago Patino, who started the game. Left, we believe, due to injury 20 minutes in. This will get clipped out for a corner. This corner kick is brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, that's what I like. Maraca. Hanya. Look at Creek saying, everybody slow down. That's 4 white shirts. That is not a compelling image.
So let's pump the brakes here. Let's get you in a better spot.
When the referee's saying, hey, hurry up, and they're like, what? And throw it right to him. I mean, it kind of cuts both ways. This is 20 seconds. Oh, wow. Lacroix just got a yellow card for time wasting.
He was really a victim of the circumstance.
Yes.
He just happened to be the guy that ended up with the ball last.
It's his 2nd yellow card this year. I suppose he had the the card to give. I'm looking down the list. Hanya has 5. You don't want him picking up a card right now. Guess I hadn't thought about who you really want to see grab a card at this exact juncture.
I don't think in the 50th minute it's good for anybody to get a card for time wasting.
True enough.
Still a little bit early in the game for that one.
A yellow card issued, of course, to Lacroix. And this toward frame will run wide. The caution sponsored, of course, by Diversus Health. Mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe, which is ironic given that there was a lot of breathing being done while they were wasting that time. Here comes Hernandez. A little shimmy there. Linares, former Hoya, launching back post. Knotted back across. That did escape before Matt Mahoney had to play it. To remind you, you can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on TUDN. It is the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Next Saturday, it is Detroit taking on Loudoun. Loudoun, with a win, would clinch their first playoff berth. Detroit trying to get into the field in the East. 4 p.m. Eastern next Saturday on TUDN. Go to USLChampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Important game for both these sides. Colorado Springs would spring up to 7th and within 3 points of 4th. San Antonio can clinch a playoff spot with a win and continue to push to host playoff games at Toyota Field. Both these teams had epic runs on home ground to win the championship over the last couple of years. Flung through Linares.
Must have already been over the line.
I mean, surely he knew that, right?
She did that pretty comfortably.
Quite. How difficult, if you're Christian Herrera, a couple different goalkeepers have raced through over the portion of the season. It's been Romero, it's been Beaudry, it's been Jonathan Burke spelling him due to injury back on July the 4th. So you had 2 different goalkeepers play 5 or more games, and here's Herrera jumping back into the 4 and trying to get into the top possible form. But it's been a very spotty season in terms of injury and form for him.
Well, I think especially for goalkeepers, that's kind of what you deal with, right? If you're dealing with injuries, if you're dealing with that, every goalkeeper wants that model of consistency. You want to be playing game in and game out. But the best thing you can do for a goalkeeper is take advantage of the opportunities when you get them. And for a goalkeeper like Herrera, who has a bit of experience underneath of his belt and he's trying to build himself into good form towards the end of the season, it's really just about getting those consistent games at this point. This is the time of the year where you really want to be making sure that you're feeling very comfortable in between the net. You're getting comfortable between the 90. Of course, every season would be great if you're able to rip off every single game and then you're able to build that underneath your belt. But there aren't a lot of goalkeepers that are able to do that. And especially when you're talking about a goalkeeper like Herrera, who's had a longer career, but he's been a backup, he's been a starter, he's been a little bit of everything. You go through those different moments and you learn from that. So he's learned how to perform at a level when maybe he hasn't been playing games consistently. But at the same time, of course, you want to be getting these games in and playing the best that you can at this time of the year.
Fjellberg swung the cross through. Hanya making the central run. That got sent away by Sanchez. It's worth noting that there was a really brutal turnover that Herrera had against San Antonio in the playoffs 2 years ago, and James Chambers pointed to that as a major catalyst to his championship winning season last year. He had 13 clean sheets. He did play every minute of every game.
And sometimes, you learn a lot about a goalkeeper in the way that they respond to mistakes like that. And for a goalkeeper like Herrera, it's something that spurred his career. And it's something that he can look back on as a horrible moment when he was in it, but something that was definitely motivating for him going forward.
Oh. A little push there, and then Agadello offered to help Creek up, and he wasn't having it. Creek was not a professional deal at the start of this year, and he just told Juan Agadello, no, leave me. Something beautiful about about this game. You get out there, and resume or not, it's 11v11. Get on with it. Jimmy Madronda, speaking of a guy who's won pretty much everything he'd seek to win, getting into the tackle. Twice a Open Cup champion, won the CONCACAF Champions League, won MLS Cup. Not once, but twice. Did it in Columbus and Kansas City. Nicky Hernandez withstood the challenge, advantage played, and played it behind Agadello.
They just can't seem to get on the same page with Agadello right now. And that's kind of been a theme for the year, right? He's a player that you expect to have more goals than he has, but the timing of runs, where the ball is supposed to be played, where Agadello wants the ball to be played versus where the midfielders think the ball should be going, it just really hasn't really been in sync with the forward. It seems like everything's listed a little bit off, and you could tell that with his goal production and the opportunities he hasn't really been able to find that rhythm this year.
And there's guys who just rip off seemingly these like 6 goals in 7 games kind of runs. This chipping all the way through and out. Agadello is so much more of a steadying force that I don't know that you're waiting for him to have that pop-off moment so much as it's kind of a slow and steady wins the race, because he'll drop into midfield and hold up play. He had that run off the left-hand side to begin the half that caused a lot of problems to Colorado Springs, but it's not one of these things where he's a super fickle goal scorer per se.
Well, on the flip side of that is, I think that's something that San Antonio needs. I think that they need a player who can come in off the bench and create those different goals and create, somebody that can really bring that type of pop. I think when you sign a player like Agadello, you want his presence, you want his steady presence, you want him to be able to drop into the midfield, but you're also counting on him to score goals for your team as well. So very good player, great career, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't really seemed to click this year for him. But plenty of time left, and of course, sometimes the best players in the league and the biggest players and the biggest names make their names in the playoffs, and that's what you have players like Juan Agadello for.
Well, and that's why Patino has 8 career playoff goals as well, like a goal a game level. And Tejada, who was last year's goal-scoring playoff talisman, takes the knock here from Sawahi.
Tejada putting the work in. Colorado Springs really hasn't had that possession here in the second half, checking all the way back, almost midway through his own half of the field, drawing the defender out, creating that foul, and putting in a little bit of that dirty work for his teammates.
Throw for Colorado Springs. Let's tell you about Sunbelt Rentals. Local hustle, national muscle. Hanya. That's local hustle and local hustle. Local hustle and local muscle. There it is.
Hanya checking back the same way Tejada did just a little bit ago, drawing the defenders out, creating the foul. Easy yellow card there. Soto picks up the yellow card, late challenge. You're starting to see a little bit more bite from the San Antonio group defensively. Not giving Colorado Springs the time that they had in the first half to relax on the ball.
The yellow to Almir Soto is sponsored by Diversus Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. Linares. Spin foul from Creek. And Creek just got, I think, a final warning from the referee that his next foul is going to come with the card. Looks like he'll escape that now.
Doesn't agree with it, but he's also having a nice little smile with Hernandez about it. Again, they're starting to build themselves into the game, and Linares has been a player. He's been a real bright spot for the San Antonio group as Hernandez checking in back on the ball. He's somebody that we need to see more involved for the San Antonio attack, too. I think Linares has done a good job out wide, creating a little bit, putting crosses into the box, but we haven't really called Hernandez's name as much as you would normally think during a San Antonio match. He's still a player that could pop up out of nowhere and be a game changer, but if San Antonio is going to get themselves back into the game, I think Linares and Hernandez are the two to do it, especially on the offensive side.
So who's taking the free kick? 6 showed interest. My money's on Madronda.
Yeah, something with a little bit of power from Madronda might not be the worst decision here. But Herrera is such a big goalkeeper as well. It could be difficult. He's the goalkeeper, one of the few goalkeepers that can actually see over these walls.
Madronda. Carlos Llamosa was telling me back in April about some of the Madronda stunners he had been on the receiving end of as an assistant in Portland over the years.
Just a little bit wide there. It had the bend on it, it had the power behind it, but just not enough curve at the end of the day. The wall set up in a good spot where you would have had to put some seriously wicked bend on that one from Madronda. But I think at the end of the day, I think Herrera would have had it covered. Good job positioning. Just a little bit too far out to get that ball curved around on frame in enough time.
Couple scoring updates to give you here in a moment as Colorado Springs, San Antonio play a pseudo-lengthy game of hacky-sack. Louisville City has grabbed the second goal, Dia and Davila, but they are down a man against Indy 11. That game is nearing conclusion. Damian Loss got sent off. 2 goalkeepers got in the hook tonight.
What are we doing, Union? What are we doing?
So Louisville 2-0 up. They are within 1 point now of clinching the Shield. They'll have 3 games to do it. Tampa Bay threw the pedal down. Rubens Pasha scores twice. Daniel Crisostomo and Manuel Arteaga bagged goals as well. They're up 4-0 on Monterey Bay. That could be the end for Monterey Bay this year. Tulsa nursing a 1-0 lead and up a man against Lexington. And then this game, of course, the lone goal from Juan Tejada in the 15th. And while it's red cards taking goalkeepers out elsewhere, it's potential calf cramp being worked on for Herrera. And I think maybe more than anything, a chance for James Chambers to have an extended chat with the team than anything.
Yeah, I think this Colorado Springs, this was a little bit late challenge here. Anytime there's something like this on a goalkeeper, Madronda coming in here trying to get a clearance on the ball, clips his foot a little bit, and anytime that happens, the goalkeeper's going to take their time getting themselves back up. But I think on the Colorado Springs side of things, San Antonio has really done a good job of keeping possession and not giving Colorado Springs the opportunity to settle into the game the way that they were in the first half. So I think the message here is, can we get this ball higher up the field? Can we establish this possession closer to the San Antonio defensive side of the half and really give our team a chance to breathe a little bit and get ourselves back on the ball?
This injury stoppage brought to you by Common Spirit Health. Where all smiles. James Chambers had an elongated chat, grabs a seat next to Alan McCann. You know, as we sat with James Chambers, for one, I mean, we were talking with him, okay, he says Kyle Vassell's going to miss this game. A little hamstring niggle, so it's going to be Tejada there. You go, okay, but what happens if Tejada goes down? And he goes, well, you know, as a group, we always sort of go through all the different permutations. If you lose your next 9, what do you do? And so on and so forth. But by the time it was over, he said, Jeff, the person that we put in, if Tejada goes down, will have a heartbeat and 2 legs. I can promise that. And that's sort of where the Switchbacks are right now.
It's similar to my prediction that there will be playoffs.
Yeah, I guarantee 8 teams will be playing in the West November 2nd and 3rd, something to that vein. Good effort to streak back and knock that ball away from Creek. Swahi had some really bright moments early in his career in Louisville and has bounced around a bit since. New Mexico, Omaha, last year in Tulsa. First team All-League in League One, 3rd division. Got him to move back into Tulsa. Madronda, as far as Hernandez, used the referee as a pick. 4 bodies on the ground, and Colorado Springs sprinting forward. Here comes Hanya peeling off the side. Another player goes down. That's worthy of a stoppage and a yellow card. A yellow card issued, sponsored by Diversus Health, Mental Health, and Well-Being for All. Remember to take a moment to breathe.
A lot going on here in this sequence. It starts off on the Colorado Springs side of things. A couple collisions on here on top of the box, but as Hanya's making this run on the counter-attacking opportunity, you watch Tejada here. He's just tripped up. It's a hand to the face. I mean, he's very fortunate that he's only getting a yellow card there.
And vital to remind fans, there is no VAR in the championship. Now, if the AR or the 4th official saw something, they can come in and add with the referee. Right now, it's a yellow to Dollenmeyer, but it's not something that can be reviewed with video. It would have to be in concert with the other referees, and that is a real rarity that you see a referee overrule his initial decision on something that game-changing without being able to look at it themselves.
Well, I think the big thing for that one was, there's contact to the face. It wasn't intentional, but Tejada's making that run. He's trying to make that counterattacking run in behind. Nothing but space in front of him. And Dollenmeyer makes contact with the head and neck area, which is something that referees take very seriously. And it was totally against the run of play. And so fortunate to only receive a yellow card there, but did a good job eliminating that counterattacking opportunity for Colorado.
And in Dollenmeyer's defense, being like over a foot taller than Juan Tejada.
Yeah, there's nothing intentional with it. I think it was just a matter of where his arms and elbows are located in relation to Tejada's head and neck area.
Exactly what I'm getting at. Not that that makes Tejada feel any better.
I think we approached that delicately the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but space there.
Kept away from Fjellberg, Tejada, and Swahi becoming real friendly. Swahi, I think, just took that over the line. The referee disagrees. Apparently didn't totally clear it. Juan Tejada is livid.
Well, even Swahili, he stopped on the play as well. Everyone was kind of waiting to hear what the referee was going to do, blow his whistle, but corrected it.
Well, I think they're saying this is a throw, but Tejada's saying that was a corner. That was a no-doubt corner.
Interesting sequence of events here as the ball goes out of play here. Clear corner kick. Everybody stops.
And I think the argument was that maybe
we could make a meme out of what we just saw there from the reaction from both players talking to the ref. Hands out in front, wondering.
Yeah, that was an odd one. Nicky Hernandez now. Woo! Hernandez putting the moves on. Displays that back. Ball knocked off the foot of Linares.
Well done there from Creek. In the right place at the right time. Ball cut back to Linares. Risky spot for a challenge, but he reads it perfectly, steps his foot in there, able to intercept that opportunity.
This is great news for Colorado Springs. Quincy Armand returning from injury. It's the end of the night for Jonas Fjellberg.
Difference maker. He was a difference maker in the first half. Really started the tempo for this Colorado Springs group in terms of offensively getting in behind. He brought speed, he brought creativity. Well done from that young man tonight.
Substitution brought to you by UCCS, where business careers start. Hanya wiggles around, takes on Neville. Hanya continues. Hanya cut that back through Neville's legs, but Tejada had overrun it.
Yeah, just not enough numbers in the box. He picks his head up, and there's just nobody in there besides Tejada.
San Antonio, 0.2 expected goals in this game. Very quiet evening for the roadside, and yet goal away from swiping a point. Hernandez, leading header. Harris took it to the corner.
This corner kick is brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank. We've been kicking it for local businesses since 1957.
This corner kick is brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank. Bank well, be well, cheer loud. Dolmeyer is down. Is this a cleat problem? I think his cleat came apart. I think he Zioned his cleat.
Who throws a shoe?
Honestly. And this is the wrong guy, if we're being honest, to need a new cleat, because this dude wears size 50s.
Well, and plus, too, we're talking about a set piece if he has to come off.
Oh.
Bad timing.
That's super interesting. Not going to let him come back into the game.
He's got a Mizuno in his left hand and a Nike on his right foot.
I can't believe his foot fit.
Worth noting, two different cleats.
If he scores that way, he's never giving it up.
We will see how it goes down. But again, a big target to be missing on a set piece.
Literally. Big target. Hernandez, Herrera, got it. I think one of the spikes came off on it. And it's weird, right? Because in terms of metal studs, you'd wear those on a natural grass surface. A lot of times you wear the plastic molded cleats on turf, I've noticed.
Yeah, well, it's harder on your body. Oh, trying to find the right cleat.
This has to be the worst feeling.
I'm not sure what he's feeling right now. I'm just trying to find a shoe that fits. If anything, you could tape it up or something. There's so much pressure on how fast you got to tie that shoe as well.
Dolmeyer's back. 2 Nikes, 1 white, 1 black. And he'll take that on the new cleat. So someone's a cleat donor. Off the back of Creek. Luke Hawkinson, Alex Grieve waiting to enter. James Chambers nearly got usurped. Fjellberg just got involved a bit. Never left the technical area, but you can see this is really starting to bubble over a little bit. Herman and Hernandez have made peace.
Yeah, I think if anything, the bench caused a little bit more reaction from this than what happened on the field. Just get another look at it here. Oh, it's just that late shove, just that little bit of late action. The bench made more of a mess of it than anything else.
Well, I mean, if you're Fjellberg, that's like A1, stay seated.
Yeah. Fortunate not to receive a card or some type of infraction, even though he's on the bench.
And all the while, an injured player for the Switchbacks back on the field. This is an injury stoppage brought to you by Common Spirit Health. Come the changes for San Antonio. Brought to you by UCCS, where business careers start. Nicky Hernandez's last endeavor in this game was the pushing and shoving match on the sideline, and then Harvey Neville concludes his 5th start with the club, 11th appearance after coming over from Phoenix. And a free kick to Jorge Hernandez. 3-time first team All-League. 11 goals this year, 5 from the penalty spot, 4 assists. For a guy who had 19 assists over the last 2 years combined. Madronda offering, header, steered. It was there. It was ultimately apparently offside. But Dollenmeyer, regardless of the cleats, can still get up.
Well, Dollenmeyer, that big target, forget the cleats because he can use his head, drives his ball back in. It's a good flick, but just in that offsides position. Colorado does a good job converging to the ball, and then those late runners for San Antonio end up behind that back line. But that's why we talked about Dollenmeyer being a big missing piece of that set piece when he had to come out, because he's such a big target. He's good with his head. Getting him around in and around the box right now is going to be important for the San Antonio team as they're looking for ways to create different opportunities.
Alex Grieve, who scored in the first meeting between these teams in April, chasing this down. It's a throw for San Antonio. 10 minutes and change remain. Grieve felt that was a foul. The way this game has been called, probably not. Streaking through, turned down the run of Tejada to take this in on the dribble. Hanya, Tejada just got dumped. Referee wags his finger, says nothing to that. There are crazier things than these two teams matching up the first round of the playoffs, too. And you can get the feeling there'd be a lot of bad blood if it happened.
I think somebody on Colorado Springs needs to get control of this game a little bit more. You have players who are on the ground. San Antonio's trying to make counterattacking runs. Players that are on the ground, hitting the deck. You need to get yourself a little bit more defensively so that you can get those numbers behind the ball. Just get a look at it here. Referee waved this off, pushed to the back, made a little bit of a collision. That initial push to the back could have been the foul call, not so much the second part, but.
Oh.
That's a red card.
Lacroix's getting sent off. He got the time-wasting yellow. And he just got sent off for a second. My goodness. He got a time-wasting yellow 5 minutes into the second half, I believe. And now Lacroix comes in with the tackle on the backside, and it looked like they gave him a yellow. Yeah, that's it. Oh, that is wild. So Lacroix has been sent off.
I think for Lacroix, it's a moment of being caught in a moment where there are fouls happening all around the field and the referee's trying to control the game.
Wow. So it's a red card issued to Lacroix, sponsored by Diversus Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. So the ball got handed to Lacroix. They had already said, hey, get the ball in. Get back to this in a moment. Said, hey, get the ball in. He had it for a few seconds, didn't throw. They gave him the time-wasting yellow right out of halftime. And then the second yellow comes here to tackle from behind.
And this isn't really that hard of a challenge either. I think that he's really well done here with that red card, but I do think that because there was a lot of action going on, the referee made an attempt to control the game a little bit more, issue a card when you're talking about the bodily contact that's happening. And unfortunately, he was a victim of two very unique circumstances there. That's probably one of the least deserved red cards I think that we'll see in any type of league. But, you know, ultimately the 2 yellow cards, and now this game gets a lot more interesting because Colorado Springs going to have to be down to 10 men.
Tejada kept it alive.
But again, you go back to that throw, and we were kind of joking about it, how he was the last person. It was almost like they were playing hot potato with who was going to get the yellow card. He was the last person that had the ball. San Antonio has numbers around the ball. He wasn't trying to waste time. He was just trying to get the ball in play, but there was nowhere for him to throw the ball to. But because the players before him had been wasting time, he ends up getting that initial yellow card.
And prescient by you to say, at this stage of the game, no one wants to get a yellow card for that. You said it as it happened. I have no idea what Ziggy is doing with that alien. None. All right. It is a Pepsi corner kick. Pepsi, that's what I like. To the top of the 18, struck on a line over the trailheads.
That is actually the exact Halloween outfit that my son wants me to wear this year because he's going to be an
Ziggy or the
astronaut.
alien?
No, the alien. Because he wants to be an astronaut.
Ah.
So I respect the outfit.
Look, the commitment to the bid is outstanding. I'll be the first to say that.
But back to that red card, even on the second yellow, it wasn't a malicious challenge. I mean, it was a little bit of a tactical foul in terms of stopping the run of play, but Colorado Springs had numbers behind the ball as well.
Yeah, I think you could absolutely argue on a couple levels that, I mean, if you're Lacroix, you're going to look back at this and go, how? Soto, header steered across the face, settled, dropped back to the spot this wide. Still 0 shots on target. Hernandez placing that a couple feet outside the stick.
Does a good job here by Aguadello. And this is what you talked about, how he's a player who not only they don't only look for him for goal scoring opportunities, but they look at him for other things as well. He's in the right position here. The ball comes in. He's holding the defender at his back. Finds Hernandez, who normally he's a player who can put the ball in the frame. So Aguadello doing a good job in that hold-up play. Finds the right player on the field who you want to have the ball at his feet. But unfortunately for Hernandez, he opens up that left hip just a little bit too much, trying to sneak it into that post. And the ball rolls just a little bit wide.
Herman. All right, if you're Colorado Springs, okay, you were just calling for someone to get a hold of this game. Lacroix gets a second yellow from hell. Now what?
Numbers behind the ball. Get numbers behind the ball. Keep San Antonio, keep everything in front. You don't want to stretch yourselves too far offensively. I don't mind this here, but you got to be careful. This is where you don't want to get too stretched out because then you're going to create those gaps for San Antonio to play into. So you do this initial wave of pressure, and then a good job here from Tejada. Get yourself behind the ball, get yourself into a defensive block, and make things difficult for San Antonio. And don't get another yellow card if you're Creek.
The referee had already counted out fouls on him previously. He's going to get away with this.
I wouldn't be surprised if the referee wasn't completely aware or remembering that Lacroix had the red card on that one. I don't think that he wanted to give the red card. But I do think it was just a matter of a lot of fouls happening at the same time and trying to get himself a little bit more control of the game. And I don't know that for a fact. I don't want to call out the referee for that, but.
Sure. Header toward Aguadello. Methuselah nods this outside. You'd have to think that Colorado Springs, having lost Lacroix and outside back, will make a change here soon. Probably be at Tejada's expense. And as promised, 2 legs and a heartbeat coming on for Tejada. Probably not the way they anticipated it. This is tonight's man of the match. The votes are in. The Groom Transportation man of the match is Juan Tejada. Groom Airport Shuttle providing stress-free transportation between Colorado Springs and EIA.
Tejada, he did the work that he needed to do. It wasn't just offensively as well. Of course, he gets the goal, but he really set the pace defensively as well when you're talking about getting himself behind the ball. When you defend the way that Colorado Springs wants to defend, it's that initial wave of pressure. He was that initial wave of press, but then on the flip side, he's able to be that first line of defense when you're talking about getting himself in behind the ball when they wanted to be in their block. So a good work rate from Tejada. He was a bit of a pest there for that San Antonio defense. And of course, when you're talking about the goal, it's a goal that Colorado Springs absolutely needed.
Substitution brought to you by UCCS, where business careers start. Hernandez. Ball knocked down, whacked across. Dolenmeyer forward, trying to get ahead to it. Madronda took the knock. Chance to remind you of Sunbelt Rentals. That's local hustle, national muscle. And a goal kick, rather a free kick here for Colorado Springs. If you're Herrera, right? Get out of here.
Yep, get up the field. Try to find a target. Maybe somebody that could flick it on to the corner, flick it in behind the back line, but get the ball up the field. But then on the flip side here, it's important as well. You want to be aware so that San Antonio can't head the ball right back into this line that Colorado is keeping their numbers behind the ball.
Oh, clever back heel. Herman leading. Sanchez had to pull back. Into the corner with about 100 ticks to go.
That was easy. But still now, get numbers behind the ball if you're Colorado, and if you're San Antonio, be patient. You have the numbers. There's going to be some stoppage time. But as fast as you build yourself into this, get some numbers inside the box. Try to get that ball inside the box. Maybe deal with the second ball.
Ball laced off the outside of the netting. 4 options waiting. It's goal kick off the Hawkinson misfire. Elsewhere tonight, Tulsa has gone up now by 2 on Lexington. That is bad news for Sacramento, who will have a game in hand but be 6 points and a tiebreaker back with 4 to go for the #1 seed. But Lexington is direct competition to both these teams at the line and in the top 4. So them losing tonight is a big deal. Ziggy's living his absolute best life. This chipped from short of halfway. Sanchez with ease. Late game tonight, Phoenix and New Mexico, and Orange County and El Paso in the league both carry huge weight as well in the playoff race. 6-pointers all over the place tonight. Welcome to Stoppage Time, brought to you by the TikTok Shop. 5 added minutes. If there have only been 4 yellows in this game, you could have told me there were 10 and I'd say, yeah, that tracks.
There's been a lot of heavy fouls. That's why LaCroix ultimately getting the red card is the interesting one, because it's almost like those challenges were some of the least warranting, or the late throw in of wasting time. Would have been the last player I would have expected to see get a red card in this one.
Angling through the penalty area, knocked down by Dolenmeyer. The shot will ricochet. Effort from Herrera to keep that in at the line, couldn't do it. It is a corner. It is a real chance for San Antonio and Alex Grieve. One of his 2 goals this season against the Switchbacks. Pikes Peak National Bank corner kick. Bank well, be well, cheer loud.
Can they find Dolenmeyer on this one? He's been the target so far. The 2 opportunities that have come here recently have come off the head of Dolenmeyer. Is he somebody that they are able to find it? Can they free him up on this set piece? And ultimately, can Hernandez find one of the targets that they'll be looking for?
Can the Switchbacks end their 3-match losing skid and ensure a place above the line by weekend's end. Can San Antonio scrape a point? They knew coming into the night that a win would clinch a playoff berth after missing out last year. Jorge Hernandez offers the corner. Header steered down off the back of his own player. Quickly taken throw. The return from Madronda. Hernandez angling back post. Header looping into Herrera. They got their man. That's who they were looking for. And with a stoppage on the field, it looks like they're going to allow the sub now. That's it for Colmaraca. And Levante Johnson is going to come in and provide simply energy, legs, something.
A body to chase the ball, somebody to get himself behind. And truthfully, just a little bit of time wasting for the substitute.
It's too soon to talk about time wasting?
No, now's the time. Now's the time you get a yellow card for time wasting.
Sub brought to you by UCCS, where business careers start. Levante Johnson, a sub now for the 14th time in 19 appearances. And can he just make San Antonio a little bit miserable here? To think we're going to finish this at 95 is probably a pipe dream. Herrera sends it to Puebla. Can SAFC steal something here at the end? There is a yellow card coming out for that contact rather than allowing play to continue to Yosuke Hanya.
Opportunity here for San Antonio to get some more numbers inside the box. Typically you want the run of play to keep happening, but here's an opportunity there where you could put the ball in the box, try to chip it in there, create a little bit of something off the second ball.
There it is. Dollenmeyer in front. That is a halfway decent header, and you can see the way he's galloping. He knew he had a chance to tee that up perfectly. Well, another 40 seconds.
There's no doubt that he's the target. Colorado Springs needs to make sure that they're aware of where he is. But if you're San Antonio, put this ball into the box.
Up again, backs that header. Sliding down. And the shot ripped and deflected off of Luke Hawkinson. Holding on for dear life in the final minute of stoppage time. Jorge Hernandez. Backside into the path of Linares. Hawkinson chasing, he's out of real estate. Is that enough tonight? We've gone 5.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure the cramp would work right now for Colorado Springs, but San Antonio doing everything that they can to try to get the ball inside of this box. Secondary balls, but nothing has been able to get themselves on target or frame or really test Herrera, and that's been the story for the entire night.
Now or never for San Antonio.
There's got to be more urgency. We got to get this ball up the field if you're San Antonio. There you go. Get the numbers up high.
Bouncing all the way through. Dollenmeyer heads it down. And Dollenmeyer commits a foul. And that could be it tonight. Matt Mahoney suffers the foul that could see the final seconds tick away.
And give Dollenmeyer credit. He's been working hard, trying to get these heads in, doing all the work. Everybody knows that he's going to be the target on the field. Just raises over the top, clear foul. And that should do it. You'd think the referee would. There hasn't been too many fouls here in the stoppage time. Maybe there's 1 or 2 more kicks left in this game, but
to reiterate, hit it to Pueblo. That's it. A much-needed win for Colorado Springs. The 3-game losing skid is in the rear view. They raise up above the playoff line. A massive 3 points with 3 games to go for the Switchbacks. They move into 7th place, and San Antonio unable to take advantage of an opportunity to move up the table tonight.
And give Colorado Springs credit in this one. This is a little bit different from the games that they had been losing. They didn't create as many chances as they did in those games that they lost, but they did a great job defensively in making life difficult for San Antonio. San Antonio was not able to create any quality chances in front of the goal. A lot of half chances, a lot of crosses in, nothing really all that threatening. And once Colorado Springs was able to get that goal, they rode out that result. The goal came early in the game, and instead of switching all their attention to go offensively, they switched their tactics to defensively a little bit, got numbers behind the ball. And on the flip side, if you're San Antonio, a team that it looks like they will make the playoffs, they're in solid position. You need to figure out things a little bit more offensively. We need to find some other goal scorers outside of Hernandez, a little bit more creativity in the top, so you're threatening a team like Colorado Springs, because come playoff time, teams are going to sit numbers behind the ball, and it's going to be harder to break teams down. But give Colorado Springs credit. This is a much-deserved win, 3 points that they needed. And, of course, you talk about the schedule they have upcoming, a huge result for this group, and a team that if they're able to get hot, they have the players and they have the strategy, they have the coach, that it could be a team that, again, in the playoffs is a threat.
In a 2-week span, numbers 2, 3, and 4 in the East and numbers 1, 2, and 4 in the West have all suffered defeat. Integrity Bank and Trust presenting our game tonight. Applause from James Chambers. A 1-0 win. We wrap it up next.
Injured in a crash? Get McDivitt and you get a firm dedicated to every single detail of your case.
We have the knowledge and resources to investigate the crash and your insurance company's small print.
Details matter. That's why we dive deep into every aspect of your case. This gives us the firepower we need to make the insurance company pay you the money you deserve.
We never ask you to pay a penny until we get you max money for your injuries.
Online at McDivittLaw.com.
McDivitt.
The moment you call McDivitt, an action plan is put into place right away to get you the help you need.
Each case and each client is different, with different needs and solutions. Your attorney and team immediately investigates every aspect of your crash and injuries.
We track down all the paperwork and deal directly with the insurance company for you.
We keep you in the loop every step of the way, fighting to get you max money for your injuries.
And you never pay us a dime until we get money for you.
McDivitt.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Post-game here at Widener Field, Integrity Bank and Trust presenting tonight's game coverage. The Switchbacks have the fans looking up toward fireworks after a 1-0 win in which the goal was hardly the kind of biggest event of the day. Full-time highlights presented by McDivitt Law Firm.
Well, this is really the first good opportunity for Colorado Springs, but it's the goalkeeper Sanchez who's up to the task. The hip opens up, Sanchez dives to the left, makes that big-time save, and at this moment in the game, you were thinking Colorado Springs was going to have a difficult time again. But this critical moment of the match is brought to you by Common Spirit Health, and this is the goal-scoring opportunity. The ball sprays out wide. Hania has done such a good job throughout the course of the season, especially tonight, getting the ball wide in a dangerous spot in Tejada. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck when the ball isn't falling into the goal for your team, and you look at this one here, Tejada finishes the ball towards that near post, takes a little bit of a deflection, but again, so many opportunities tonight for this Colorado Springs team came from the wingers, making opportunities for themselves and driving the ball across the box, and that's what we're able to see on this goal. And credit to Hada for being in the right place at the right time. Here we have a little bit more, really the best opportunity of the night for San Antonio. Medrano, this free kick from a deep distance, he just wasn't able to wrap that foot just enough to get that ball in the near post. I think Herrera would have had it covered. But outside of that, there really wasn't many opportunities for the San Antonio group, and give Colorado Springs credit for playing well defensively. Beautiful night for fireworks.
Absolutely. Groom Transportation presents tonight's full-time stats and chance for your final thoughts. To me, right off the bat, San Antonio did not put a single shot on target tonight.
Just didn't see enough offensively. Even on the corner kicks, there wasn't much creativity. Didn't see any creativity at all from the San Antonio team in the attack. Some of that you give credit to Colorado Springs in terms of keeping them in front of them, but some of that as well, it was just a lot of stagnant, not a lot of work from the forward position tonight. And give Colorado Springs credit. They put the ball into the back of the net and wrote up the result. They get their 3 points. They're sitting in a good spot for the playoffs, and it's a team that I said they have the players to be dangerous, so someone to look out for.
So San Antonio, 4 games remaining. We'll have to wait till next week to clinch their 5th playoff berth in 6 years. But Ziggy and the Switchbacks grew victorious on a beautiful night in downtown Colorado Springs. Integrity Bank and Trust presenting tonight's broadcast. An up and down roller coaster of a game, but the Switchbacks win it on Tejada's 15th minute goal. For Jeff Antonella, our whole team, downtown and beyond, Mike Watts saying thanks for watching. So long for now. Good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.